نيسان 2020. اليوم عيد ميلادي. ماني عارف إذا بعيد أو بعيد، لأن اليوم عرفت معنى كلمة حرية. كيف بدي أعيد إذا مسروقة حريتي؟ وكيف بدي أعيد إذا ما عم بيطلع صوتي؟
This one
وأنا
was
قاعد
just
بقلب البيت
really powerful, cool and powerful.
ماني عارف
The introduction to this person's life I thought was just very interesting. The idea to do it all with this sort of vintage camcorder feel I thought was on point, because you find yourself looking at genuine footage from this man's childhood, and then seeing the date stamps. It all lended really well to the narrative, which, if I understood it, was someone whose sexuality may have been repressed perhaps due to cultural or religious beliefs, and now finding that voice and finding that freedom. So if I understood all that correctly, I think it did a really good job at laying that out. The intro I thought was fantastic, and how and when the music started I thought was just on point. I was hooked from the get-go, but when that hook came I was doubly hooked. It just really good, absolutely worth checking
I
out.
love the aesthetic for this. I feel like this has the best production design of all the ones that were in this collection. I love the costumes and just the choice to use. I don't know if they actually used a DV cam or something like that from the 90s or the 80s. Or if it's just like a post effect, but it really really works, and it's really interesting, and it kind of the juxtaposition between the past footage and the current footage, and it's just really compelling, and it just gets your synapses firing.
I thought this was really intriguing. I liked a lot of the choices that they made. Like having the whole thing kind of feel like it was on like you were watching it on a worn VHS tape. And I thought that it was really interesting to kind of have the flashbacks, and then the next thing you saw was like the couch and that initial living room scene. And I was so curious as to where this film was going. I had no idea. So once the kind of music started and you started getting more into it, I had that moment of like, oh, like this is how it all works together. This is how it pairs together. And I really loved having that moment where everything just kind of like suddenly clicked. I thought it was so fun, and like it went so well with the music and the different shots that the different locations that they used and the different outfits that they used, and I legitimately had fun just watching it. So I was a fan. I thought it was well done.
I thought that was great as a little COVID piece, as an ode to all the birthdays during isolation. And I really love this throwback to the 90s home videos. Home videos are one of my favorite things in pieces because they automatically feel authentic and intimate, and the static to balance both the footage from his second birthday to his present day celebration was neat in the manipulation of the footage with jump cuts and layering on to one another. So they both it felt like a really good ode to an amazing birthday as a 2-year-old, and bringing that creativity to life.
I liked that Hadi announced the date, because obviously April 2020, we are in the midst of a pandemic. So he is spending his birthday alone. And maybe that's because of the pandemic, or maybe that's because he has not the same relationship with his family as he used to. I really, really enjoyed the interspersed cutting in and out from the home video footage of the family dancing, and then him dancing on his own. The costumes were just so beautiful, and he looked amazing. The dancing was great, and it felt to me, his solo celebration felt to me like a rebellion. to maybe his more traditional upbringing and saying, well, I'm going to do this anyways. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to celebrate myself and my life, but also who I am. So I felt there was a lot of strength coming from that performance.
I actually like the feedback added to these videos, whether they were there in the beginning or just added by the filmmaker. The lines, it looked like it's being rewinded, fast forward, and there was actually a lot of contrast between his two birthdays, and the scene where he sang himself happy birthday and he was mirroring the way his mother was singing him happy birthday was very bittersweet. It was like sad in a way because I think that he sacrificed a lot to be able to be himself, sacrificed his home life, but at the same time he's like refusing to be sad about it. Like it's almost like a celebration. I'm gonna celebrate my birthday anyways, basically, he says. I loved his dancing, I loved the costumes, and the spirit of celebration overall is alive and well in this film.
It is an unabashedly queer piece of film, which is always great to see, especially nowadays, and uses Vogue in this interesting way to also echo dances from the filmmaker's past that have of course a cultural connotation to them, that are embedded very much in the culture they were raised in. So we see the culture that they've the queer culture that they have entered in their adulthood, blended with the culture that they were raised with, so that it's a really beautiful thing to see these different forms of dance and movement come together to tell a story of growth, which is really what a birthday is, right? And that's what we see, I think, very much so featured in this. So it is a really great short film that is both a great representation of queerness as well as of cultural heritage.